Hello there, health coaches. We are doing something different today. We are starting a series of podcast episodes called Coach the Coach. So if you subscribe to the Health Coach Power Community podcast, you're going to see these start popping up every couple of weeks. If you're inside of our Health Coach Power Community Facebook group, you're going to see our beautiful faces popping up on your screen as I actually coach another coach through a challenge problem block that they are trying to solve. And today, we are going to be talking to Holly about her mailing list, or as we were just joking before we hit record, her lack thereof. And I know this is important for so many of you because I think it was just last week we were recording about something else entirely, but everyone was talking about how they didn't have a mailing list. So I just knew that there was something that we had to bring back and do an episode on very, very quickly. Holly's here because she is part of our weekly mentorship group. If you would like to be mentored by me, it's not always one-on-one like this, but in a small group environment, and get that kind of ongoing support and accountability that's going to help keep you moving in your business. The wait list is open now. You can put yourself on it, and by doing so, get a coupon towards your first month of membership in weekly mentorship when we open up for enrollment later this spring. The URL to put yourself on the wait list is healthcoachpower.com/mentorship. And we'll hope to see you there. In the meantime, Holly, thank you for joining me today.
Hi, Michelle. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah, this is so great. This is like one of the perks of being inside of our mentorship group is that we're giving you guys this one-on-one time with me, even though we are kind of broadcasting it to the whole universe. But I just know everybody's going to get a lot out of this. Holly, before we get into talking about your mailing list or lack thereof, could you just share a little bit about what your experience has been like inside weekly mentorship so far?
Yeah, sure. I joined HPU in December, right before the end of the year. I am a brand new coach. I just got my certification probably a week before I joined your program, and started diving into all the modules. There's a lot of rich information there, but then saw the mentorship opportunity as more of a smaller group format where I could get a little bit more personal attention to the questions and my needs. So I'm a couple weeks into that, and I think I've made every weekly mentorship call except for one. And they're really valuable because the format switches up. Sometimes it's one-on-one coaching, sometimes it's small group format, sometimes it's putting a coach in the hot seat. And I walk away every week with an insight that I didn't know that I needed, basically. So I'm happy with it. And I think the biggest thing for me is accountability. The way that you have been challenging us to share with the group what our sort of business building, revenue generating activity for the week will be, and kind of put that out there and then checking back in with us. It stays in the back of my mind throughout the week, like, oh my God, I got to get this done. Like, Michelle's going to check in, my group's going to check in. So it's been kind of that push I needed to get started.
Oh, good. I'm happy to sit on your shoulder and quietly whisper in your ear all week. Hey, remember you were going to do this thing. That is the whole point. Well, thanks for sharing that. And you had one big question for me today. Tell everybody what it is.
Yes, I am wondering, do I really need an email list before I've clearly defined my model, meaning my signature program and my signature offer? As I mentioned, I'm new, and so it feels a little premature to be developing an email list. I'm not really sure yet what my offer is.
Great question. I mean, I hear from coaches who are years into their practice and they're still saying, I don't have an email list, or people who are struggling to sell their stuff. And well, I posted it on Facebook. Well, did you email your list about it? I don't have an email list. And it so often comes back down to this. So let me put it back at you like this. Why not? Why not just hop on into ConvertKit or MailChimp or whatever the service is and get that dang thing set up?
You know what? I don't know. I don't know what the barrier is, because before jumping into HPU, I took the little beginner module course that you put out there, and that was something that you encouraged us to do. And I don't know. I think there's some, I don't have all the confidence yet since I'm a new coach. And so it's like if I put the list together, then I've got to communicate to them. And what am I going to say? I'm not quite ready yet. So it became a roadblock for me, honestly. And I just started doing the things that felt a little bit easier.
It's fascinating to me because legit to sit down and set up your email list will take like 10 minutes. It doesn't involve talking to anybody about anything or talking about money or coaching. I mean, it's just like an administrative task behind the scenes. And yet you're not the first one to say this. Like, it becomes a stumbling block. So, so if we just think of it as like an admin task, kind of like you have to set up your new cell phone, or you have to hook up the cable and the internet when you move into a new house. You know, you got this new business and we just got to hook up some services. Does that alleviate any of the hesitation? What if you just set it up? You don't even have to use it.
Yeah, actually that does. Because I think when I was thinking about setting up before, I was immediately jumping to the using it part. And I'm like, I'm not ready to use it. And the other part to it too was, how do I build it? I felt a little, I think this goes back to not having 100% confidence yet, since this is a new career for me, but I felt a little weird just putting like friends and family on there, because my previous job was marketing, and we're, taught in marketing, opt in, opt in, opt in, opt in. So I'm like, this feels a little uncomfortable. So yeah, I think thinking of it as an admin task, which I've done plenty of those to get my business off the ground. This felt more marketing focused and a little bit uneasy at this point.
Yeah, so you're skipping a couple steps ahead. It's the first, I got to set up my list, but I can't set it up because then I have to use it. I can't set it up because then I have to build it and add more people to it. I can't set it up because all the stuff that's going to come down the road. And you're going to be well taken care of because you are inside Healthy Profit University and you have access to how to do all of those things. Like, it's all coming. But for right now, we just need the service set up. And the reason I'm always pushing for coaches to do this right away is because it's not that hard, but sometimes you're in the process and you realize, oh, I'm not supposed to use my Yahoo account with this. I got to get a domain email address, right? And inside HPU, we have a tutorial on how to do that. It's not very difficult, but okay, so that's one thing. Oh, I got to take care of that too. Or you get in there and who knows, there's some technical thing you can't figure out, blah, blah. It's not hard, but you don't want to wait until the minute you need it to set it up, is my point. Because sometimes coaches wait and wait and wait. And then they're like, okay, I'm finally ready, Michelle. I'm going to run a 5-day challenge and I'm going to send out emails every day and I'm going to have an opt-in page and I'm going to do this. And meanwhile, they haven't even set up the account yet. So they're behind the 8 ball when they feel like they're ready to go. So I want you to just get the silly little administrative stuff out of the way so it's there.
Got it.
And then when you're ready for it, you'll come back. Now, since I brought it up, do you have a domain email address already?
I do.
Okay, great. Can you just briefly tell everybody how you went about getting that set up?
Sure. Yes. As I mentioned, I came from marketing. That was sort of my previous life. And so I did all the things that you said you don't need to do when you first launch your business because they were comfortable for me. So I went and I came up with my business name and I had a logo and I got my website. And so as part of like buying my domain name through GoDaddy, I got my email domain as part of that package. Right. Yeah.
Okay. So that's one way to do it, you guys. Yep. You just, if you sign up, you get your domain domain from something like GoDaddy and you get the email package that goes along with it. And it costs just like a couple of bucks a month, right?
Yeah. And it was super easy to set up. I'm not very tech savvy. It was very, very easy.
Okay. And I know some people use G Suite. Some people are going to like, there are different ways to go about it, but it's a very common thing. And something, it's like, put it under the I can figure it out category. So you don't even have to worry about that. Because if you had only a Yahoo address, then, that does become one extra step. Whenever you're sending emails, as you will in the future, but not yet. So don't worry. When you do send your emails, your email service wants to make sure that it doesn't come across as spam. Like they don't want you to send from a Gmail or a Yahoo or a Hotmail or anything like that. It's supposed to come from a business. So that's why your deliverability will suffer tremendously if you don't have that domain email. So you're good to go there. Now let's talk about who you're going to put on your list to start. You can't start a list without, 1 or 2 names. It's not much of a list. So who are a handful of people that you already, just as a human being, as a person, you contact them, you talk with them, you email them, maybe you talk on the phone. Like, who are some of your closest friends and family?
I mean, I would exactly what you just said. I would say that a handful of like my closest girlfriends and my sister and my mom and my husband and his family and things like that. So I've got a healthy amount of those people. And again, if I'm just putting them on the list right now and I'm not already thinking about what I'm going to be sending them, then I'm okay with that.
Okay, good. And now these are people that you're friends with. So you could just
Right.
shoot a text off to your friend. Hey, do you mind if I add you to my list? I'm just getting it started. I need names.
That's good.
Comfortable?
Yep. Yep.
I mean, even if you didn't, let's say you didn't,
They're
would
not
any of
gonna,
the people that you just mentioned, would any of them get mad, report you, mark
no,
you as spam?
no. Okay. Good
Okay, so
point.
that's like, yeah, this is the litmus test of who, like I always tell coaches, add your closest friends and family to your list to get started, just so you have some people on there. Just like whenever I start a new Facebook group, I always start it with like a couple of my closest friends, just because I need some bodies to make a group. And it's the same thing with your email list. If any of these people are likely to hit spam on you or be annoyed that you're emailing them, then they shouldn't go on it. And I always say, don't put me on your list, because even though I love all of you and I'm encouraging you to start your list, you would be surprised how many health coach email lists I end up on. And I'm sorry, but I will unsubscribe right away, because that's ridiculous. We have almost 12,000 members in our health coach power community. Can you imagine? So, so there you go. Those are the basics. Now, have you looked into different email services yet?
Just watched the video in HPU, sort of the beginner's video. And I was leaning towards MailChimp, but haven't really looked into it beyond the video that you shared.
Great, good. This isn't something that you need to scratch your head over forever. All the services are like fairly similar. They all basically do the same thing. They all have, well, I think every service I can think of has a free plan to start out with. So it's only once your list starts to grow, or once you want to start doing like fancier things with your list, that you need to start paying for it. And I always say, like, it's the thing to pay for. You don't need a website, and you don't need to pay for, your fancy client booking system or anything like that. If there's one thing that you spend money on, maybe it's going to be $20 a month for MailChimp at some point. We always want to keep costs down. So pick a service, go with it. Inside HPU, like you mentioned, we talk specifically about MailChimp and about ConvertKit. We are going to be bringing in MailerLite soon, because that one's become popular and seems like it's doing really well for some coaches. So that's another option that's available. And there are many others. There's Flowdesk, there's ActiveCampaign. So point is, just pick one and you go with it. I've changed email services like 2 or 3 times over the course of my 13-year career. And it's a little bit of a pain in the neck if you need to do it at some point, but no big deal.
Okay.
So we're good to go there. All right. So I know you mentioned that you don't have your signature program figured out yet. And a lot of coaches are where you're at, where you're like, I don't really know what I'm selling. I don't have a program. You're going to get there pretty quickly, I think, inside the HPU curriculum. But before we even get to what you're selling, do you have an idea of who you want to be selling to? Have you already worked through your target market?
I have. I did some work on who I want to be selling to, and wrote that down, and interviewed some people to make sure that that was kind of in line with what people were in the market for. And I got some really good insight from talking to some of the people in my target market, and they wanted something different than what I initially thought I was going to offer. So I've tweaked my target a little bit, but I haven't formally marketed myself to that target market per se. What I have done is just put myself on social media and said, hey, I'm a new coach. Here's my business. Here's what I've been doing. I'm proud of myself. Yay, that kind of stuff. And immediately got 4 private clients that do not really fit my target market. But I'm very thankful to be working with them. So all that to say, I have a target market. It might need to be refined. And I'm not currently working with anybody that kind of fits that.
You haven't used it yet.
Yet. Correct.
I always think of a target market as a bow and arrow. So it's a tool that we would use in our marketing. And whenever we're going to do something, we have to figure out, well, where are we going to aim the bow and arrow? Like, I want to achieve this. I want to get these people on my mailing list. I want to sell, this kind of package, which you will figure out later. But first you need to know, well, who am I aiming this whole campaign at, or who am I, aiming my efforts at? So that's the tool that we create. Do you want to share with everyone who your target market is going to be? What is your bow and arrow pointing at?
Urban moms in their 40s. They have kids in elementary to middle school. They live in big cities. They're open-minded. They work, have disposable income, love to socialize with friends and family over food and drinks. I thought initially that I wanted to help them solve their digestive issues, feeling bloated and things like that. But after talking to quite a few of them, they just want to lose weight. They want to lose weight. So I'm helping them lose weight through diet and lifestyle shifts.
Okay. So let's pretend, and this is not going to happen because you're inside Healthy Profit University, but let's just pretend that you didn't figure out what you were going to sell and package up your services and pick a price and all that kind of thing for like a year. Let's just say you're not going to do that. Sometimes I even talk to coaches who are expats, or they have some sort of reason why they can't earn money right away. Or for example, when I was pregnant, I was like, okay, I'm not selling anything because I can't take on new clients because then I'm going to have an infant. So there's always reasons. And so let's just pretend like one of those reasons apply to you. You're not selling anything for a while, but you're going to have this chunk of time where you can be building a mailing list, getting to know your target market, building up that know, like, and trust factor. So we know you're targeting these urban working moms who like to go out and socialize. I can picture her in my head. I'm sure everybody can. So in the meantime, what would you talk to a woman like that about? She wants to lose weight.
Yeah, I mean, right now, I think what I would be talking to them about, because it's what I'm hearing within my circle of friends, is it's this, this pandemic fatigue, and they're kind of coming on the other side of COVID, hopefully, and they've all just sort of put on weight, feeling bloated, lost their energy. And so I think I would want to talk to them about kind of a way to get their mojo back. I don't know specifically if it's, I would say, lose weight, because they're not saying like, oh, I've got 25, 30 pounds to lose. They're all just saying, yeah, I put on some weight and I'm not feeling my best. I have no energy. I want to get out of this kind of rut. So I think talking to them about sort of finding their, I don't know how to put it, but like kind of their pre-pandemic, energy, body, mindset back. But I know people aren't maybe not thinking about it in that way.
Okay, so just from that stuff off the top of your head, I was just scribbling down some notes over here. Every time you write an email, every time you make a post on social media, you don't have to talk about her entire life and everything about it. All you have to do is zero in on and actually it's much more effective this way, zero in on one specific thing that she's interested in, that she will resonate with, that she finds funny. For example, I just shared something into my Instagram stories yesterday. It's a picture, and Holly, I don't know if you will resonate with this. It will definitely work for anybody who is my age. The black Steve Madden slides, those shoes that we wore around the year 2000, and they went clop, 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 clop. Remember those? Okay. I shared a picture that I found on Instagram, and it said, if you can hear the sound of these shoes by looking at the picture, the Super Bowl halftime show is for you. Right? So that's speaking to a very specific age group. And you cannot believe how many people laughed at it, wrote to me about it. Ha ha ha, I had 7 pairs of those. Right. So even though that has nothing to do with the problem that I help my health coaching clients solve, I'm speaking to this exact demographic of women. Right. Because I know in the year 2000, I was wearing those Steve Madden slides. I had black capri pants, and I was going out clubbing on Lansdowne Street in Boston. I was in college. Okay. So, when you share something, it's helpful to share something that's real specific. So you were talking about, she just feels like she's in a rut, topics that you could talk to her about in your emails when you're ready for it. You could talk about pandemic fatigue. Just call it out. You could talk about energy levels, waking up in the morning, you still feel exhausted. or going to bed at night and you're wired, right? Because that often goes along with it. You could talk about just the idea of being in a rut. You could tell a story about a time that you were in a rut and how you got out of it. Maybe it has nothing to do with your health. Maybe it has to do with, your career or something else entirely. You could talk about pre-pandemic life. Remember when we just went to the store and didn't have to, mask up and all this sort of thing. There's all different topics within that. You can talk about weight. Of course, you could talk about it, recent weight gain. You could talk about lifelong battles with weight. There's so many different ways to talk about weight and dieting. How many diets have you been on in your life? Just opening up conversations that some of them are like very, very specific and some are a little more tangential, but they're all going to get at the right woman. They're all going to be the Steve Madden slide, for the right women to nod their head and be like, oh, she gets me. Holly gets me.
Okay.
And if that's all you did for the next year, you'd be doing great. Like you would be setting yourself up so well for having an audience that's going to be warmed up, as we say, as you know, because you're in marketing, this warmed up audience. When you eventually sell your services and your products, they're going to be like, yeah, I love Holly. I'm going to buy whatever she's selling because she's so cool. And remember, we just got those topics. That was like 5 or 6 topics from off the very top of your head. You spoke for about 30 seconds. So imagine if you just did that for about 10 minutes, you'd have a year's worth of content.
Okay. I like that.
All right.
And so that would be across social as well as email when I'm ready for the email.
Yeah. If you had a blog, it would inform what you blogged about. For those of you starting podcasts, it would inform what you're podcasting about. It basically informs everything that you do. You figure out, who am I helping with what problem? Okay. What's she all about? Or what's he all about? What do they like to do? What are they interested in? What are their problems? What do they think about at night? What do they think is funny? And this is where you get your content ideas from. And it's separate from, what am I selling them? Like 90% of your emails, I'll say 75 to 90% of your emails are probably going to be of that nature. Just talking about topics, sharing tips, sharing stories, ideas, maybe a recipe here and there, whatever. And then a small percentage of the time will be, join my thing, buy my service, book a call, all the salesy stuff. But we are in the coaching industry. So building a relationship is first and foremost. And we never want to be pounding our list with sales messaging, which is why, even if it is just your sister and your friend and your other friend and your mom, they're going to get emails about interesting stuff. And it's not too annoying. And if they stay on your list, because they can always unsubscribe at the bottom, right? If they stay on your list, they choose to stay on your list. Yeah, eventually they'll get some sales messaging.
Okay. So
what's your comfort level?
Well, so how often in the beginning, I'm thinking through this person now that I want to target this woman. And I'm even thinking like, as I go back to build my list, only putting people that meet that picture, that target market on my list. Is that thinking too narrowly? Or should I open it up to like all my closer friends and family?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, sometimes we know a lot of people who fit the exact demographic that we want to reach. And so ask those people if they want to be on your list. But even other people can be really helpful to have on your list, because I may not be that woman, but I know that woman. So if I'm like your cousin, and I'm happy to be on your list and help you start out when you're just launching your business, and I start seeing what you're writing week after week, it's funny because your friends and family, they'll just read it because they're like, ooh, what's Holly doing? What's she up to? She's cute, but then they'll go, oh, I know someone who needs this. So it's not a bad thing to have other people on your list. And again, if they eventually don't want to be there, it's not resonating with them, it's not helpful, then they will unsubscribe.
Okay. And in the beginning, is there a sort of a sweet spot on frequency to send these out when you don't have your offer, your program yet?
Yeah, I don't want you to worry about that quite yet. We will cover that inside HPU. The goal is just always to be consistent.
Okay.
So you literally could start today if you want, based on what we just discussed.
Okay.
And if you start in a couple weeks, that's okay too. From setting up the actual service to putting a few people on your list to knowing what to write about, what's your comfort level on a scale of 1 to 10 right now?
I am a 10 on everything except knowing what to write about. I would probably be like an 8. I need to do a little bit of work on that. But as far as
That's
setting it,
perfect. That's right where you should be. And before we started today, on a scale of 1 to 10, how comfortable were you with this whole content?
2, maybe.
Nice. You are a sponge. You absorb everything that we just discussed. And now I feel like you're going to be able to act on it. So thank you again for joining us for Coach the Coach and being so very coachable.
Thank you for your help and your insight, as always.
And I'll see you next week for our mentorship call.
Sounds good. Thanks, Michelle.
You're welcome. And for everyone, if you would like to be part of our weekly mentorship calls, you do not need to be a Healthy Profit University member, although you could be. And we will be opening up for new members later this spring. If you want to put yourself on the wait list for that, you can at healthcoachpower.com/mentorship. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.